following podcast is brought to you by patreon.com/WrestleMediaCA. Like what you hear? Want more of it ad-free, uncensored, and earlier? Sign up today at patreon.com/WrestleMediaCA and start getting more for as little as $2 a month.
Hey guys, I'm Jen. I'm a gamer, a photographer, and a longtime wrestling fan. Wrestling, especially women's wrestling, has truly evolved over time, and it's bigger than ever. I'm here to give my take on the world of wrestling, be it women, men, or whatever else is on my mind. Because if women in wrestling are being heard more, shouldn't women in wrestling podcasts be too? Welcome to Women Crush Wrestling! What's up, everybody? It's me, just Jenny, here with my boy Adam.
Hey!
Just English today.
Yes. Well, I mean, I could have said tally-ho.
Pirate?
I think that's British as well, tally-ho.
Maybe.
Tally-ho.
I just don't know why I pictured pirate saying it.
If I was a pirate, I would have been, arr.
Oh, yeah, true.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm not answering that.
Kairi Sane would have answered it.
Oh, gosh.
She also would have smiled and given me a big hug and just said how great I am.
And then made you walk the plank.
Oh, God. She turns quick.
She's a pirate. They're all evil, right? Pillagers.
Well, maybe she's not full pirate. I've never seen her like with a face full of gold teeth or anything like that.
That's coming later. That's when she turns heel.
Oh, I see. Is that
gold
when she's
face pirate?
Is that when she's going to get her parrot as well?
Yeah, yeah.
She needs a peg leg.
Right.
Like, really,
and
she's a very untraditional pirate.
No, she is. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
all.
Maybe this is what the Japanese pirates look like.
Oh, yeah, like it's a regional thing.
Maybe.
Like maybe we have a very narrow white European ideal of what a pirate is. Right? In the Caribbean, they all look like that, apparently.
Which is odd.
Yeah, you wouldn't think. Although the Caribbean was
true.
Taken over by white Europeans.
That's true.
Welcome to History Lessons with Jenny and Adam. Oh, my God.
Oh, I knew it was coming out.
Are you all right?
I'm okay.
That sounds sickly.
I'm good. I'm just really gassy.
I'm just glad that pickle came up finally after you waited last week.
Right? Pickles.
Of course, if you were a patron, you heard that.
Yes.
If you're listening to our free version here on WrestleMedia.ca, then you maybe didn't hear Jenny eat a pickle last week. But if you sign over at patreon.com/WrestleMediaCA, well, you can start hearing things like Jenny eating a pickle and other various foods.
There's one thing I don't do for free, and that's eat a pickle.
A lot of people don't know this, but once we're done talking about wrestling, this turns into a ASMR podcast.
I'd be like the horrible. I couldn't do it.
What do you think is like the worst noise in the whole world?
Oh, what would it be? Canada geese.
Anything where my cats are in pain. That's the worst sound in the world.
Oh, yeah. I don't like when my puppies.
Yeah.
When they yelp.
How about the words, we're going to show Avengers Endgame until 2 o'clock in the morning?
I hate that. Because in our small town, makes no sense.
Absolutely
But
not.
they're doing it.
They got to get those late night dollars.
I'm seeing it in Toronto, so I don't care. I actually have this whole weekend off, and I'm like, bye! Have fun with the most busiest time of the year.
Suckers!
I'll be in Toronto.
So will I. And so will you if you come to Chinlock Wrestling and enter our contest. See, if you're a patron, you're probably listening to this on the Saturday when it's released, which means it's also the day that we'll be in Napanee for Chinlock Wrestling's big event where they're going to have qualifiers for the Cale Murphy Memorial Championship. And Jessie Mack, who was a guest on our show last week, will be defending her Chinlock Heavyweight Championship against the Immaculate Ray Steele. Excuse me, Ray St. John. That's his former alter ego. He'll get mad at me if he hears that, so sorry, Ray. We're also going to be on location with Danny Franchise, the glorious, greatest jobber to the stars there ever was. He's going to be signing and handing out free 8x10s at our booth, but also we're going to give anybody who attends the show a free opportunity to win a pair of passes to the Impact Wrestling pay-per-view Rebellion the very next night. So if you're a patron, tomorrow night, in Toronto at the Rebel Complex. This is going to be pretty awesome. I got to tell you, I'm so excited for this show. Tessa Blanchard versus Gail Kim. That's the main event as far as I'm concerned. You've got Taya Valkyrie defending against Jordan Grace. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we'll get an appearance by Rosemary and Kiera Hogan at some point to continue their story. Maybe Madison Rain will show up there. there is so much potential for great women's wrestling on Sunday. I'm so excited about the whole thing. And that's on top of the other great matches that are going to be there. Johnny Impact versus Brian Cage. Lance Storm's the special guest referee now. We got the Full Metal Mayhem match between LAX and the Lucha Brothers. We got the X Division title match between Rich Swann and Sami Callihan. So much happening at that pay-per-view. And we're going to be there. We want you to join us. So come visit us. If you haven't gotten your tickets and you're in the Kingston area, if you're close to Napanee, go visit chinlockwrestling.com and get your tickets now. Now, you might be saying to yourself, hey, Adam, I don't know anything about Chinlock, and I'm not in the Kingston area, today. Or maybe if you're listening to this on Monday, the free version, you're like, it's already done. What are you going to do for me now? What have you done for me lately? All right, well, how about this? Why don't we give you the opportunity to get to know Chinlock Wrestling and Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore Wrestling at the same time. See, they're putting on a little show on June 15th, which is attached to their Legends Convention, and we're going to be there. We're going to be there with Bret Hart and the Brainbusters and Mark Henry and Billy Gunn and Mark Henry and Swoggle and Jimmy Corderas and Mark Henry.
You just keep throwing Mark Henry for me, aren't you?
Well, no. I mean, I just want to make sure everybody knows that I said Mark Henry. It's kind of an on-running gag now.
Oh, okay, there you go.
But I know you're a big fan of Mark Henry.
Big fan.
And Jimmy Hart as well, and Mark Henry. And we're going to be there, but we want you to be there to see the show. So we are doing this little contest where all you have to do to enter is sign up for our newsletter at wrestlemedia.ca. You go to our website, there's a little pop-up that comes up. If you miss it or you click away, there's a link right there on the front page. Click that, sign up for free. And not only will you get monthly updates about everything that's happening at wrestlemedia.ca, but you'll also get the chance to win 2 floor seats. I actually picked these seats out, hand-picked them myself, to the Chinlock Wrestling House of Hardcore show in Kingston, Ontario, June 15th. Otherwise, once again, check out chinlockwrestling.com and get your tickets right now. Jen, anything you want to chat about or dive into before we start looking at some headlines this week?
No.
Okay, well, let's jump right in then.
Okay.
Last week, we talked about some of the ridiculous things Sexy Star had said regarding her being the inspiration for the WWE's Women's Revolution, which is total bunk, as we both know. Sorry, you're taking a big breath, so I thought you had something to say.
I thought I had to burp.
All about the noxious gases this week.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Well, there you have it. Be prepared. Some ASMR for you people who like those kinds of noises.
There might be somebody.
Well, we cater to everybody here at Women Crush Wrestling. Adam Wemp didn't actually comment, but he put a GIF. Is it a GIF or a GIF? It's a GIF.
GIF.
Yeah, because GIF is a peanut butter.
It is a very good peanut butter.
It was a GIF of a girl laughing hysterically, so he was also amused by her statement. Less amused was Daryl McBride, who said, she's the biggest dirtbag in wrestling. Female New Jack, with 3 exclamation points.
You meant it.
I mean, that's a pretty serious statement. Would you agree with that? Do you think Sexy Star is the female New Jack?
Sure.
You're like, whatever, why not?
Yeah, why not? She's a dirtbag, let's do it.
No, so you're agreeing that New Jack is a dirtbag?
Sure.
Okay.
That's my answer for everything. Sure.
So we'll add New Jack to the list of wrestlers who are going to hunt you for sport eventually.
Him, though, I'm...
The
only thing that would really worry me is Lesnar, and I hate to say it.
New Jack has 4 justifiable homicides. No big deal for you?
No. Now he's really going to come kill me. Thanks, Adam.
Hey, listen, you did that yourself. I didn't get you in that situation.
Oh, man.
We also asked what wrestlers or matches you would like to see at the Smash Wrestling Summit event, which is happening the week of SummerSlam. I got to tell you something. I'm super, super jacked up for this. I think it's going to be an incredible gathering of women's wrestling talent and matches. I said last week that we were going to try to get involved with that. We've put the wheels into motion. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say we are yet. I'm saying we're working on it. Look, regardless, I'm going to be there. Even if I have to just go as a fan and buy a ticket and report to it back to you folks here at, WrestleMedia, I will do that. But I really hope we can be a part of this, because as two people who love women's wrestling and support women's wrestling, it would be our honor to be a part of it. So I'm hoping that some of this kissing up will do it, Suave. Please let us be a part of this. Well, we asked you, and Andrew Walsh had a couple of answers. Session Moth Martina. I have to admit, after watching her at the Rise pay-per-view Legendary, I would also like to see her perform. She was highly entertaining. Allison Kay.
Woo!
Yes, we're both.
Ooh, Samantha Heights. I jumped the gun. That made me happy. I'm sorry. I love her.
And Veda Scott, he said, just to name a few. Those are all great names. Now, here's the tough question. Of those names, which, if you could only book one of them, who would you book?
Samantha Heights.
Oh, interesting.
I really, really like her.
I like Samantha Heights as well, but of those four, I'm going to book Allison Kay. Yeah. I just think she's tremendous.
Your pick will go against mine.
That would be cool. Then you and I can fight too. We'll just jump the rail and be in each other their corners.
Right? I'll prepare for everyone who's coming to kill me, apparently.
And Matt D'Angelo said Victoria. Now, there's an interesting idea because, I mean, a lot of these groups, Shimmer and Rise and Femme Fatales, you know, they work with a lot of up-and-coming talent. Some of them do work with legends. Saraya Knight is a former Shimmer champion. I think she's a tag champion with Paige, her daughter. And I think she may have actually even been a world champion with them at some point in time. Mm-hmm. Point being that it would be cool to get a nice little mix of these upcoming talents and some legends. And I hadn't really thought about that. But Victoria would be a good one to get, especially if this does, in fact, turn out to be her last year of active wrestling competition. So fingers crossed. Mm-hmm. Let's hope that the organizers are listening and give those ladies, as well as us, a chance. All right, let's jump into some headlines. Jen, some very interesting stuff coming out of WWE TV this week. Becky Lynch is going to pull double duty at Money in the Bank.
Yep.
I said duty.
My goodness. You're a grown adult.
Listen.
Duty.
You just sat there and burped twice into the microphone.
I can't help that. That's a bodily function. It's better to come out the front than the back.
See, now who's acting immature and talking about duty?
That's true, though. It's better to come out the front than the back. Although sometimes my burps really stink. Yeah, I'm sorry if they do.
Why? They can't
Everything
smell it.
I eat that day,
it like becomes.
It will get to them. It will hunt them down.
Her first match was booked when it was announced that she'd be taking on Lacey Evans at Money in the Bank. You and I kind of talked last week about how it felt like she wasn't a big enough opponent. Mm-hmm. It felt like it was kind of a lackluster shot for Becky after winning the title at WrestleMania. Well, I guess the WWE must have heard that. Your buddy Jeff Jarrett must have gotten to them because they've kind of changed it up a little bit. And now Becky is going to have two matches at Money in the Bank. Her second one will be against Charlotte Flair, who defeated Bayley in a very good match on SmackDown to become the #1 contender. What do you think about all that?
I kind of think that Becky might lose a title, and I feel like it'll be more like towards Charlotte. Then they would probably put her on just Raw.
That could be it.
Yeah.
I think if anything, she may lose a championship, but I think they're going to do a cash-in. Mm. Because the idea will be that Becky will have to have fought 3 times in one night, and one of those matches, like I could see her beating Lacey Evans in the opener, and then towards the end of the night, having to face Charlotte. Maybe she hurts her leg, or Charlotte basically pushes her to the limit, and then whoever wins at Money in the Bank comes out and cashes in, and then beats Becky for one of the belts, and then they can say, well, there's an excuse built in there that, you know, Becky had 3 matches and was in no shape to compete, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So that's my official prediction.
Predictions.
What do you think about her making her wrestle twice in one night?
I kind of like it because, like she said, she has 2 belts. So having 2 belts, then it's your duty to defend them. I
worry that they may be overexposing her.
Yeah, shoving her down your throat too much.
I do worry about that. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind. I like Becky Lynch quite a bit, but I do worry that it may overexpose her a little bit, and the fans may get a little sick of her. That, and I'm
scared they're going to burn her out.
Yeah, that could be possible too.
Because they're pushing her hard, and she's on every show. She's probably on every road, like house show. She's out there.
It's very possible that could happen. In the past, they've done this pretty well, but they've done it where the guy holding 2 championships was a heel. And when Seth Rollins did it as the WWE champion and the US champion, the appeal was that you'd have two opportunities to see him lose his championships. The idea was that it was a punishment for wrestling twice. Mm-hmm. Now, having Becky choose to wrestle twice on the same night does make her look brave, but it could also make her look foolhardy. But I don't think that really matters. I think the fans will love her either way. But I do think that there is a risk of overexposure there. There could be a risk of fans going, oh, God, okay, let's see somebody else here.
Yeah.
So that's possible as well.
Kind of what they feel like with Charlotte.
That could be it, too. And I got to admit, it may be the intention, because during SmackDown, I really wanted to see Bayley win.
Oh, me too. I
was
literally,
really
when she was so close, I was like, please, like, I would be more interested in that storyline going forward. Because it's something we haven't seen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sick of Charlotte versus Becky. They're both very good wrestlers, but...
You need a break.
Come on. So many other people.
And I think the idea is to tease that Charlotte will get the upper hand and then there'll be a cash-in. Again, that's my personal opinion on it, but I agree. I think that Bayley versus Becky Lynch would have been a cool matchup to see, and it would have been honestly, that would have been a cool way to start the show. Like, have those two go at it, have themselves a big babyface match. And although there's been rumors that they're thinking about doing some different stuff with Bayley because of the reaction that she got in Montreal, but I think that's a poor gauge, because not only was it a post-WrestleMania crowd for the Superstar Shakeup, but she was interrupting Becky Lynch. And right now, Becky Lynch is that superstar where it doesn't matter who you put her against, she's going to get cheers. She's got the Undertaker syndrome. You just can't hate her. No. So
she's Becky Two Belts, man. You're going to chant for someone who doesn't have two belts? Get out of here.
Now that's interesting too, because WWE has a ban on the word belts. Vince doesn't like to refer to the championships as belts.
Oh, but she gets away with it.
She does get away with it. In fact, they've lifted that ban now so that they can market Becky Two Belts.
See, I need to get that tattoo.
Smart girl.
Do it before they get it taken away.
Well, I mean, it's not like,
take it away.
There's a decree where it's like you have to have it removed.
Right? I have to get a cheese grater. Oh, that's how they do it.
EC dub. You're hardcore, Jen.
I am.
We'll have to introduce you to Tommy Dreamer in June. Get you a contract.
Yeah.
You're like, what can you do? You can, I could take a cheese grater.
Yep. I actually have a really high pain tolerance, so there you go.
I don't doubt it at all. Hey, this is a commercial for patreon.com/WrestleMediaCA, where you can get early access to episodes of your favorite WrestleMedia shows, get full uncut and uncensored versions of your favorite shows, and more. Don't want to hear this commercial on your podcast anymore? Sign up at our main event tier and get these episodes ad-free. Want to hear your own commercial here instead of ours? We've got tiers for that too. Visit patreon.com/WrestleMediaCA and join the WrestleMedia revolution today. Here's some interesting news regarding a women's champion. This kind of took me by surprise. Jazz, who has been the NWA women's champion for 948 days,
jeez,
has vacated her championship. It was real unexpected. She said on Twitter that it was due to medical and personal reasons, so whatever they are, I hope they're able to be resolved quickly and painlessly, and I hope it's nothing too serious. Obviously, seriously enough that she felt like she couldn't actively defend the championship. That's a huge bummer. And I feel like that's a real shame, because she added some real legitimacy to that championship. She was a name first and foremost. People knew who she was because of her reigns as WWE Women's Champions and her time in ECW. But also, she was a legit tough broad.
Mm-hmm. So, you don't mess with her.
No. And she added a lot of legitimacy to that championship. So unfortunately, she's had to give it up. But if you're listening to this on patreon.com/WrestleMediaCA, then you know that tonight is the Crockett Cup, which is a huge event for the NWA. They're co-promoting it with Ring of Honor. Of course, if you're listening to this on the Monday, this event will have already happened. But they have added a big match to that event. Jazz was set to defend the title at the show. Now, they will crown a new champion between Allison Kay and Santana Garrett. Damn, that's a good matchup. Now, Santana is a former NWA Women's Champion, so she's been to the top of that mountain. She knows what it's like. Obviously, at the time of this recording, we don't know who wins.
Mm-mm.
Who's your pick? Who would you book to win? That's tough because those are two really talented women.
I'd say Allison.
You're going to go with Allison Kay? My heart would definitely go with Allison Kay. My only concern, I mean, it's tough because, like I would say, because, you know, she's very busy, but, you know, Santana is also working WoW right now, and that's going to keep her busy. And it's not like either woman is not on the radars of any top company in the world, right? So that could be a concern, but yeah, I guess if I'm going to go with my heart, I'm going to pick Allison as well. So there's twice I've backed Kay.
Is Allison still Shimmer's champion?
I don't know, actually. But I'll look that up while we chat about this.
Okay. Because, the last time I checked, she was, but that was, like, a while ago.
How much of a while ago?
It was pretty while ago.
Was that a song?
That was my song. I'm going to make it up. Make it up as I go.
Fair enough, I suppose. Let's see who their champion is. According to Wikipedia, as of April 23rd, the Shimmer champion is Nicole Savoy. And Heart of Shimmer champion is your girl Samantha Heights, who won the title their last show, April 5th.
Yeah, see, this was a long time ago but she was at once.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure she was at some point. I'm definitely not denying that.
Oh, good, because you'll lose.
So we wish Jazz the best of luck in whatever it is that she needs to go handle. You do you, girl. And I can't wait to see who ends up with that NWA Women's Championship. They've got some big shoes to fill from Jazz, who made history with that championship run, but also by being the first African-American woman to hold the championship. So got some big shoes to fill there, ladies. I don't envy you, but I'm happy to watch. Poor Dana Brooke.
Can't catch a break.
No, she really, really can't at all. I mean, first she gets kind of just pushed aside all the time. And now Sam Roberts is back again making fun of women he doesn't know anything about.
I'm sorry. Sam Roberts shouldn't make fun of anybody.
I can't say that I disagree with you on that. So on this week's episode of WWE Main Event, Sam Roberts made his commentary debut alongside Byron Saxton and Renee Young. He didn't do so bad. He was okay. However, he did have some pretty harsh comments about Dana Brooke during her match against Tamina. Some of the things that Roberts said were, I wouldn't be in a wonderful mood if I found out I was returning to singles action and it was in a match against Dana Brooke of all people. What is that even supposed to mean?
Right.
And then he goes on to say, no big shocker here that the somersaults that Dana Brooke is doing aren't exactly paying off. I'm sure she's great on a balance beam. Now, I don't know if he's supposed to be a heel in this situation. If they're trying him out as a heel, I guess good job, because he's upsetting a lot of people, including Dana, who took to Twitter to defend herself, saying, Sam, always thought we were cool, but, redacted statement, wondering why at WWE doesn't have you on a lot. You bury people. What have you accomplished? Probably gave up at it. Unlike me, I pushed through, never giving up. Maybe Renee Young will be right when I block you and one day make you eat your words. He is not going to be very popular amongst the women of the WWE locker room.
And if that's
us for that matter.
And if that's the case, I don't really think they're going to keep him.
You think that he's going to make some enemies?
Because right now, like, women wrestling is what a lot of people want to see. And if you make them angry and you talk like that about all their talent, I wouldn't want to have him on.
I wonder if he'll be coached on things, because I think the idea of him stirring the pot and causing the performers to call him out on Twitter and get people like us talking about him is the kind of thing that Vince McMahon would like, because it's creating drama, it's creating tension, it creates attention. But I think it's the way that he's putting down the talent that may be cause for him to say, well, let's coach him a little bit on this, because I don't remember whose book it was. I think it was Roddy Piper's book, where he talked about the proper way to bury somebody in an interview was not to make them look too bad, because the idea is if you tell the world that the guy you're wrestling is no good and you beat him, well, then you've beaten a nobody, and why should anybody care? And if they beat you, well, then you just got beat by a nobody. So either way, you're losing. Now, it's not exactly the same thing on commentary, but at the same time, you're right. These are the performers, and you can't talk about them in a way that seems like you have insider knowledge and make it seem like these people are losers, right? Corey Graves knows how to do it as a character and make it over the top. Even Michael Cole would kind of blur that line a little bit. I mean, I didn't enjoy that, but, Vince apparently did because they kept him as a heel for God knows how long.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess that they probably won't have any issues with him saying the things he says. Because, let's be honest, if they're bringing him in as a heel commentator and he's making people angry, well, they're going to say, good, he's doing his job.
But I kind of feel like the way he's doing it is he's personally attacking a WWE talent, which would make the WWE look stupid for hiring that talent.
That's a good point. I didn't really think of that.
So, to me, I feel like he's bad-mouthing the company that he's representing at the moment.
Yeah, you got a good point there. That's a really good angle to look at.
That's how I would see it and probably talk to him. You got to think of a different way to go about this, because that right there, Dana's already kind of being pushed away, and then people are seeing how they're treating their talent. Is that really how you want to represent? Especially all this stuff about Sasha. This is not the time that you want your talent to be kind of mocked.
That is an excellent, excellent point. Taz had some interesting things to say about Ronda Rousey taking some time off after being with the WWE for 1 year. In fact, he used the word insulting, saying that he felt that she got her hand held while she was in WWE because she was, quote, always protected from her first match on. Now, I could totally understand why he would say that. He said that he thought that the mixed tag match from WrestleMania 34 was good, but she had two of the best workers in modern history there, having her back, and Stephanie with a ton of heat, who knows what she's doing. Yeah, okay, he's got a good kind of point there, I think. And he said WWE did everything possible to get her over, and commends her for starting a family, but feels there have been many women wrestlers who have done a lot to bring awareness to the division to rid misconceptions. So let's start with that statement. What do you think of what he had to say regarding that?
I think it's stupid.
I would agree with that.
Okay, so these opinions when she first started, I understood, but when you watch the growth and how much, she had a wrestling ring brought to her house so she can practice nonstop. This is a girl who did professional fighting all her life. She doesn't take this as a joke. She doesn't need anyone to hold her hand. She just needs people to kind of maybe teach her, and then once she knows it.
Yeah. He went on to say the revolution for women's wrestling didn't start with Ronda Rousey. It started way before that. Ronda Rousey definitely helped bring some casual fan awareness because of her star power as a MMA or UFC fighter. I get all that. And I think that's cool. That was great. But the women's revolution for pro wrestling, it started way before Ronda Rousey. Now, here's the thing, though. Yeah, but Rousey never claimed to be the person who started it. Mm-mm. She just claimed to be a person that helped get it to the main event of WrestleMania, which she did. And I mean, I think that you can't deny that her star power was a big part of that. Mm-hmm. Taz also went on to say that although he admits Rousey did bring awareness to the division, WWE did just as much for her, if not more, and the girls she worked with to get her over and give her that platform. I agree with that, but I think that, here's the thing. I do understand where he is coming from because Taz is old school, and anybody who comes in as a celebrity, works for a year, and then takes some time off, any normal wrestling professional would never be given that kind of allowance. But here's the thing. I don't see him saying that about Brock Lesnar either.
No.
Now, Taz may feel like Brock's paid his dues because he was a wrestler on the main roster going full-time for a little bit, and now he's gone away and made a bunch of money and become a big star, so maybe he feels like he's earned that. But at the same time, I don't feel it's much different from Ronda Rousey. Sure, she wasn't a wrestler for years, but she also paid her dues. She put years into the UFC to become a big star and earn those kind of rights and those privileges and whatnot. And at the end of the day, it's what she negotiated. It was what she got, right? I just think that maybe I personally feel my opinion of that is that I think maybe he's being a little dramatic about it.
I think he's salty.
He is a little salty.
Because, I'm sorry, who cares about him?
Well, I mean, look, Jen's washing her hands of it. I mean, I don't. He's entitled to his opinion, of course.
Of course. But I mean, I hate people that put women down because they want to take time off to start families.
I don't think that's his issue. I think his issue is doing it after just 1 year.
Yeah, but still, like, if she was with the company for 7 years, I guaranteed he still would find something to say, like, oh, you didn't put a decade in, like most of these girls are doing, like.
It's possible. I mean, I guess we don't know.
Most of these girls start when they're in their 20s and can go that long and then retire and start families, where Rhonda's coming in already older, has already had a grueling physical career beforehand. Like, just let her do it.
And also, like you said, maybe these women have to work a decade before they feel comfortable enough with taking that time and whatnot. And if Rhonda feels comfortable enough that she's like, I put in a year, I helped, I contributed. I think it would be a different thing if it was all like just take from Rhonda. Mm-hmm. But, she made an effort to try and bring eyes to the product, and she was there to help get the product over and get people to watch the show. She did her job, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, and here's the other thing too. It's not that she's not coming back. Like, she has time on her contract left. She's just going away to do something that she wants to do and then come back to it. I mean, this does happen in the real world. People go and they start families in real jobs. For goodness sake, you're working with 2 pregnant ladies right now at your job.
Oh my God. Summer's going to be hell. Because that's when they're popping and I'm going to be like, get me out of here.
I'm going to start using that. I'm going to be like, when you popping?
Yeah.
And then, I'll never be allowed back anywhere again.
No, you won't be allowed. You'll be kicked out of the theater.
Oh, you think I meant just the theater? No, I'm going to start using that everywhere. Just coming up to pregnant ladies, be like, yo, when you popping?
Not good.
Not good?
Not good.
It's a kind of a Taz look.
Yeah, very much.
I'm just kidding, Taz. Don't put me on a list that I'm hunted like Jim.
Put me on a list.
Now you got Taz and New Jack and Brock Lesnar coming after you. Well, I'm going to miss you, Jen.
It's okay. I'm going to haunt their ass.
Ghost Jen.
Oh my God. I'm super annoying. So, like, you don't want me to haunt you. I do this cough at work when I'm not getting attention, just so I can get attention. And I always joke that I'm going to haunt the halls of work with that cough.
Oh, God. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap things up this week?
No.
All right, well, let's just take it home then.
All right, well, I've been Just Jenny, and this has been my boy Adam.
Boo.
Ooh, scary.
We were talking about ghosts.
That's right. That's pretty scary.
I think so.
You just crushed it.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Can you do the cough for us?
It was like...
This has been a presentation of Wrestle Media, where everything is wrestling and wrestling is everything.
Here's what you're missing out on right now over at patreon.com/WrestleMediaCA. One talent who was not upset with WWE, but chose to part with them long before any of the controversy started was Leva Bates. You probably remember her from NXT as Blue Pants. Well, it looks like she now has a new home as she has signed a contract with AEW. And she's got herself a new gimmick, the Librarian.
Why? Why?
Want more? Sign up now at patreon.com/WrestleMediaCA.